just talking about anime. Guess it's important to hear what they say. Argue over weapons throughout night and day. Now that you listen to the Rant Cafe.
What's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Outpro, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Rant Cafe Anime Podcast. This is a very special episode. First up, we're going to have an awesome discussion about the funniest moments in anime featuring Nux and Briggs.
Nux and Briggs!
Also, our girl, Gibi.
Yo, what's up?
Nice to have you, Gibi. And
Thank you.
another ASMR/gamer girl hiding in public.
That's true. Thank you for finally introducing me correctly. Jesus.
I mean, he pronounced your name wrong. It's actually hiding in
Yeah, that wasn't funny, man. Like, you can't, the sound quality, bro. We're a professional podcast. You can't do that for memes, okay? First, just to announce to everyone before we begin that the Rant Cafe light novel is now available on Web Novel. It's up there for you to read for free. Check it out. We will link it in the description. You can also go there, check out the story, give us some Power Stones, which helps us rank up. It's something you can give once a day for free. And also give us a review. Leave a review if you like it and support it. And at the end of this episode, we're going to be reading from the new chapter. We're going to have a live read through. Woo! And then for our patrons, we have an early release of the following chapter already up for you guys. So this chapter we're going to be reading now. The next chapter is already up on Patreon for you. So thank you guys for your support. It's going to be awesome. Let's get into it. Nux, do you want to begin?
I do want to begin. I want to begin with saying that Gintama is the funniest anime of all time, bar none. And the fact that no one watches it is an atrocity. But I think Gibi should actually pick a moment and start things off because she's not here very often. Should cherish the time.
I've never seen Gintama.
I know. No one's seen it. It's so sad. But is there, like, what's the funniest moment for you in all of anime?
In all of anime, that's hard to pick just one. Because sometimes, you know, you really just need a lighthearted moment in the middle of a serious anime. And sometimes you're laughing the whole time.
Like certain mushroom scenes that will go
Like
unnamed.
How to eat a mushroom. That was educational, okay?
That's what I'm saying.
That was
anyway.
fully educational. I actually think the anime I've laughed at the most was Mob Psycho.
Really?
Yes.
It does have a lot of
I
fun.
have to say, Reagan drop kicking some espers.
Literally every time. It got me.
Dude, it's all about Reagan's self-defense rush.
Yes.
I was about to say self-defense rush, greatest attack in anime, would beat Goku, low diff.
I would
I
not.
think one of my
I would not say the Mob Psycho has some of my funniest moments, but that is a standout moment. The self-defense rush was absolutely hilarious.
It's just the fact that, like, the guy's freaking out that mob is coming. He just beats, like, 20 Esper guys at the same time. Reagan just, like, slowly, nonchalantly walks up to him, yells self-defense rush, beats the heck out of him. And then, like, the narrator's like, self-defense rush, an attack that Reagan implements when he's not sure if it would count as self-defense.
And then right afterwards, someone calls him Master, like Master Reagan, and the guy like freaks out even more. It's like, is this guy stronger than Mob? Like, the guy who was initially scared of?
Just terrified.
He's hiding his presence completely.
Yes, that was so funny. Yeah, I love that.
And even in the first season, like when he's walking up to like an Esper and he's like, let me show you my power. And he pulls out this little pendulum and he starts swinging it back and forth. And they're all ready. And he's like, and once I have your attention, Esper drop kick. He just drop kicks the guy. Throws away the pendulum, just kicks the guy in the face.
Like, that's my type of comedy.
Hell
I can't help it.
Then
And
I
it's
feel like you and Nux are kindred spirits.
Yeah, you should watch Gintama.
I really should.
But yes, I have to say, Reagan is one of the funniest anime characters, hands down. I love all of his moments. It's just the whole philosophy behind how all these Espers band behind him as the master. It's just such a great... I love it. It's beautiful. Hypnosis punch.
I think one of the things I really like is the amount of effort people put in different anime to like set up a joke. And I think I think in general, season 2 is more like dramatic, more emotional, more funny, more everything in my opinion. But season 1 has that iconic moment that I think everybody probably goes to. That is him building up about joining the Esper Club, the ESP Club, and the whole episode builds to it. And we're gonna get our club shut down, going with the classic trope of anime. And at the end, they join it, and then it's a club anime. Haha, that's how every club anime starts. And then at the very end, he's like, I'm gonna join the workout club and
the body improvement club.
Body improvement boys.
Yeah, that's one of the best bell drop moments. I feel like, because after
I
it's coming.
was expecting him to join that. Exactly. I was like, I know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
I did not know.
But he was like, yo, I'm already a good Esper. I want to improve my, body. I want to be a Chad.
The funniest thing is those Chads in the body improvement club, like they basically, when you look at anime as a whole, you have like your nerdy protagonist and the jocks are always the douchebags.
Mm-hmm.
But like, these are the nicest people, the most wholesome people in all of anime. It's like,
yeah.
I've never related to a character in anime more than the Body Improvement Club. I love them so much. They're my spirit animal.
They're honestly great characters. They're not just some Chads. They're Chads with hearts.
They're like Briggs.
They really move as one unit, one very important special unit.
And their fight scene in season 2, like that was like.
I love that scene because he had developed his muscles like properly over time through hard work and training. Meanwhile, the other guy just used his Esper's ability to like bulk up, and it was like in the long run, it's not the same.
Yeah, well, that's the best thing about it is like what I was saying. Like I feel like almost the dramatic elements of Mob Psycho make the comedic moments better because they aren't just one-off gags. Like they actually have to do with the character growth and everything that sets up fundamentally in the world.
That's exactly why I like it. Sometimes when you go into like something like thinking that it's a comedy and like expecting to laugh, it's just like it's not as good.
Yeah, so that's why I also like, and anime does have a lot of this, like multiple genres at once. So not just comedy for comedy's sake. There's other things going on too. There's a story. There's other elements, and then those are probably my favorite stories.
That's why I love One Piece so much. It's the best in every genre.
One Piece does kill the comedy game, though.
Yeah. So
it has some of the funniest moments.
Once upon a time,
favorite moment though I can't talk about because of Animac. God damn it.
Once upon a time, I would have been like, guys, stop fucking talking about One Piece. This is a comedy discussion, not a shonen discussion. But now I can't even, bro. I can't even.
Animac just started reading One Piece, and obviously he fell in love with it. I mean, it's the king of manga for a reason.
Yeah, I'm 400 chapters in, and that for One Piece has just started.
You're barely just breaking the tip of the iceberg.
That's like watching 10 episodes of Mob Psycho, comparatively.
Pretty much, yes.
Hey, Ludicrous Fund has donated 5,000 magical bitches. That's
you,
pretty ludicrous fun.
Fuck yeah.
And he meant, and of course we're going to read his comments. He said, the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon is the funniest moment ever.
Oh, let me guess, it's a Gintama reference?
It is a Gintama reference, and he didn't even call the cannon by its correct name. It's not the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon. It's the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong Cyclone cannon.
Oh.
Very, very disturbing. And for you know what, I'm gonna send you an image of this cannon on Discord so you can
just look like a dick.
Damn it, you spoiled it.
I wasn't positive. Speaking of One Piece, the greatest anime of all time.
Yeah.
Greatest
one
manga of all
that I
time.
thought was really great was when like Enel had just smited down islands, all these powerful characters. He goes to fight Luffy, hits him with a blast of lightning, and Luffy, since he's made of rubber, doesn't affect him at all. It just passes through him. The look on Luffy's face, he just bites his lip like in confusion as to what happened, because he has no idea that he was gonna be like resistant. And then Enel's face, like Oda is just so great. The reaction on Enel's face was just unbelievable.
It's because this guy didn't lose composure for a second. He was like praised to be a literal god among men. Like he had this whole divine god complex thing going on. He uses his ultimate attack, which of course has this really pretentious name, and all of a sudden it does nothing. By the way, I sent you an image of the Neo Armstrong Cyclone Jet Armstrong cannon.
Yeah, and
I put it up full screen on my stream.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's really gorgeous.
Like
that really looks like it has extra power.
Yeah, Gintama it's an intellectual comedy. It's not just like but I think There's a lot of funny moments in Gintama, and
That's very
the
powerful.
references all stand out to me as some of the greatest like referential humor. Like there was this one thing about JoJo stands, like there was like this ghost spirit behind someone, so they thought it was a stand. They were like, "It's that old lady stand," and they were all like freaking out. And they were like, "Wait a second, but only stand users could see stand, which means we're stand users." Hell yeah! And they're like trying to summon their stand. But I think that one of the funniest Gintama scenes is the legendary Death Note bathroom battle royale. Are you familiar with this scene?
You just make me want to watch this
Death
more.
Note
I'm not gonna
bathroom.
lie.
So basically, there are 4 stalls, and in all 4 of the stalls, there's like a different character, and none of them have toilet paper, or so it seems. And they end up getting into like this whole Death Note mind game battle. I'm like, it's like, you know what? I don't have toilet paper, but I do have sandpaper. I would offer you some, but I'm gonna use it myself. And all of a sudden, you hear like a scratching, and one of them just like freaking out, like, "How is it possible? How is he using sandpaper? This is nuts!" And then should I give in? Should I use sandpaper as well? And like from a different stall, the main character's like, "You know what, old man? I also have some sandpaper." And you hear some more scratching. And it's like, "Oh my God, he must have butt hairs of iron."
Oh man.
And meanwhile, they didn't even have sandpaper. They were just like scraping on tiles and stuff. And the other people thought they were. And they were like, "No, if they get out of the stall first, they'll manage to succeed." And it was amazing. Like, it was like a 10-minute scene of just pure mind games on how to wipe your butt and leave
They
the
took
toilet.
it so far. It was amazing.
It's so good.
How
It's
long? How
amazing.
long did they drag it out? Is this like a 10-minute scene?
It's a
I think it
full
was
10
half the
minutes.
episode. It was half the episode.
It's half the
Wow.
episode.
Jesus.
That
It was
sounds
so
kinda
good, though.
amazing.
It was so good. Oh my God.
No, but
You-
didn't they actually pull out sandpaper at one point and he was trying to pass it to the next stall?
Yeah, but they didn't actually use it. Like they
They
rubbed
actually- they were faking
sandpaper
it, yeah.
on the ground.
But they actually did have sandpaper and they were trying to convince other people to use it.
Right, yeah, because they knew that it would take them out of the race. Once they leave the stall, they wouldn't be able to continue their journey.
Mhm.
So basically, 2 of them ended up leaving the stall. Like, one actually used sandpaper, and the other one like had an image of someone that he looked up to, which he didn't end up wanting to use. So like, you know the famous samurai move? Like they both fly past each other really quickly with like their swords out, and all of a sudden one of them just starts bleeding and falls down on the ground.
Classic, yeah.
So like they both zip past each other, and all of a sudden both of them just like blood erupts from their butts, just like, and they both fall down and they like crumple down on the ground, like they're both defeated. It was pretty gorgeous. It was beautiful, I have to say. It's one of the funniest moments of all time. You had to be there.
No, I mean it does sound funny. The entire premise. It's kind of like
It was
Food
beautiful.
Wars. What Food Wars does for food, but then Food Wars does it for an entire series.
No, Gintama is pretty epic. When it comes to humor, I think nothing really beats Gintama. Anywho, that was my pick. Hiding in Public. Do you have a funny clip, a funny
Sorry, did you
moment
say
in mind? You heard.
Oh, I would say I wrote down a few moments since I knew within the last second had to hurry up and come up with some few. I guess one that I really like that takes a little bit of build up is Lucky Star. They have the main show. I'm gonna introduce basically the concept behind it. They have the main show, which is with all the main characters and everything, and they're these 4 girls who go to school and all that, and their friends and whatnot. And then they have something at the ending segment called Lucky Channel. It's kind of a meta fourth wall thing with 2 hosts, and they talk about what happened on the show that day. One of them is like a washed up idol who is like, she's a heavy smoker and she's all irritated and stuff. She really wants to be famous, but she's only landed herself a gig at the end. She gets jealous of this other character, Minoru Imaishi, which is the other guy there, for like half the show. And eventually, the previous episode, I think it's like episode 14, she's like, next episode, I managed a starring role. I'm going to have a guest cameo appearance on the next episode of Lucky Star. Take that. And she's like, because she's an asshole. You don't want to root for her. She's like really a dick. But she's really cute. And that's the disposition. The next episode comes. It's the Kamiket episode. So the 4 Lucky Star girls are going there. There's tons of characters in the background, including Minoru Imaishi. And you're just trying to spot her the entire episode. And like very near the end of the episode, they're just casually walking by, and there's a cardboard cutout of her there. And they walk by, accidentally bump into it, and it falls over. And that's her entire appearance for the whole episode. And the episode never draws attention to it. It's super subtle, and there's this huge build up to it. And it's fucking hilarious. My friend Jack, who's been on here before, he just recently got to that for the first time. And he was telling me how much he was just dying. Because it's just that sort of kind of subtle, kind of slow, and kind of dry humor.
A build-up. What the hell?
It's
So
great. There's so
I
many
have
of
to
those.
say, speaking of Jack and his wonderful sense of humor. So in a video lately, I mentioned it's like I don't. Oh, it was Markiplier, right? I said Snarkiplier, if that's even his real name or something like that.
Mhm.
And Jack, who edited the video, he was like, "Oh, Nux thinks he's so funny, Snarkiplier." So he just started making fun Snarkiplier that it's not a funny joke at all. And so basically, I was in a chat with a whole bunch of them, and they were all like, "Yeah, Nux, that's not funny." I'm like, "You didn't get the reference. It was beautiful. It was a reference." There's an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX where the dub is of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is just like, it's gorgeous. It's god tier dub. So basically, one guy wants to go to the school, and he wants to duel the main character, Jaden Yuki. And he's like, "I'm going to the school to duel someone, but I can't tell you who it is. But it rhymes with Schmaden Schmooky." That's in
real?
the actual anime. Schmaden
God.
Schmooky. And
And
that was
everybody
in
flipped their opinion.
a video that I made like a week ago. So when I told them that, like, they were just, their mind was blown by the sheer comedic brilliance of the Schmarkiplier joke.
Well,
Yeah, and then Eden ripped it off and started his video
Yeah,
with it.
and then Eden started his next video with, "Hey guys, Schmarkiplier."
nothing beats Crystal Beef Mammoth.
Crystal Beef Arnold Mammoth. Oh, it's beautiful.
What?
So one of the monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX's dub, it's like, it's this big mammoth monster, and it's like, "Hey Jess, you want some pancakes?" That's how it talks.
Yeah, that is literally how, like, it's not a joke. This is how real. And Sean Schimmel apparently did it.
Yes, it was voiced by the voice actor for Goku.
And he even admitted it on Twitter. He's like, "Yes, guys,
On
this
Twitter.
is real."
So the funniest thing is he DM'd me to thank me because that was the most fun he ever had voicing anything in his career. So
Wow.
he was very appreciative that I shared it with the masses.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's absolutely great.
Save me, Jesse! I'm gonna crush that little toothpick of a man.
Like, I feel like Gibi, I feel like she's listening to this and she probably thinks you're like overdoing this.
No, not at all.
Not just straight up.
No, like
No.
that is straight up a good
Well,
impression.
this
of
is
how it's-
Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe it.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is pretty special. I mean, Chaz's entire character is like, they totally reworked it for the dub, where like he'd go around saying, "I'm about to Chaz you." Like,
God. Oh my God.
yeah, the dub made him one of the greatest anime characters of all time. Where he's like, I'm sarcastic, and then Jaden says, "Hello, sarcastic. I didn't know that was your real name." Like the
I would
just
turn off the
the
television.
dialogue. It's so bad, but it's so good. Anyway, Bringo, do you have a funny scene?
I mean, I'm a big fan of one-liners, as Nux knows.
I know.
A one-liner can make or break a show for me.
An entire show?
An entire show. Like,
An entire show.
I'm not a big
I
Dragon Ball
made-
fan. Like, I'm not a big Dragon Ball fan, but I think Vegeta is a fucking hilarious character because of his one-liners. And so if you've watched Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z in this case, you see the struggle that Vegeta goes through the entire series, always being one step behind Goku, always struggling to go Super Saiyan. He even like falsely admits to like achieving Super Saiyan multiple times, and it never really was the real thing. And then towards the end of Dragon Ball Z, he's training in like a gravity room or like that's significantly above the like Earth's normal gravity. And his son is struggling, and he's like, "This is no room for a kid." And then his son, out of nowhere, goes Super Saiyan. And his son's like, I don't know, like 10 years old. He spent his entire life trying to achieve Super Saiyan ultimate form, and his son's just like out of nowhere achieves it. And in his head, he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "Super Saiyan's been like reduced to that of a child's plaything." Oh my god, I can't speak. a child's plaything. And he's like, what is this? A Super Saiyan bargain sale? And he gets into a fight with his son. And he punches his
Briggs
son in the
isn't even
face in the
overdoing
fight.
it.
He said it like in the fight. He's like, I'm not gonna fight back, but you could try to attack me as much as you want. And then his son lands an attack, and out of reflex, he punches his son in the face. And, and as like a way to make up for him, he's like, stop crying, Trunks, you're a man. Now pack up, let's go to the park.
Man, that sounds like great fathering to me. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was.
I
so
mean,
good.
I love how Briggs just says it nonchalantly. Like, a good line can make or break an entire show. Like, he's not even joking. Like, I asked him, like, did you like my latest video? And he's like, dude, you had one good line in that video. I'm like, but what did you think of the video? Oh.
Bro, it's all about the one-liners.
The ones that stick with you forever.
Oh yeah, like I'll
If the
never
reporters try to get
forget
near
when
my house, I'll just destroy them.
exactly. We can't go Super Saiyan during this tournament. They'll recognize us from the cell games, and then the reporters will be all over us. Please, if the reporters come on my lawn, I'll just destroy them. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's respect.
Yeah. Well, Animac, you have any funny scenes for us?
Yeah, so I want to start off with JoJo's.
Oh,
The entire series.
No, well, I mean, there's a lot, but some standouts are for me. Obviously, the scene where Muhammad Avdol and Joseph are tied together.
Oh.
When they're stuck together, that is so good.
man, I
Where,
love
like
that.
all the public's children come out and are watching them, and they're like, "Please stop."
Like,
The
why
funniest
not?
thing is, you know that, yeah, you know that Araki, the writer of JoJo's, he loves that joke. Like, he brings that joke back in part 5. Like,
When?
so
Oh, is
remember
it when Narancia?
after Mista fights the ice guy,
Yeah.
and he's like super wounded, and Giorno's healing
Oh, yeah,
him.
and he's on the
Yeah,
bed.
they're viewing him from the boat, and they're just, and Narancia just flips out. He thinks that, hanky panky stuff is going on,
He calls
And
out to
basically-
them, and then he's like, "Oh,
and they're like, "Sit down, Narancia. They're men." It's like-
that is a good moment." Gosh.
Oh my god.
yeah, I love that joke. Like, he has such a great sense of humor. I thought when you first said Avdol, I thought you were going to mention how Avdol and Polnareff,
When they
you know,
piss in the guy's mouth
they drained the snake together.
together in his
I think draining the snake in our light novel is the funniest moment in anime. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it was a
But,
moment of
like,
inspiration I had.
The idea that this enemy stand user is hiding underground with like a little pipe coming out of the ground. So when Polnareff sees the pipe, he's like, "All right, he's there. I'm gonna destroy him." And Avdol's like, "No, don't." Like,
Don't you see that?
First he throws in some dirt. He drops the spider in there, and you hear like coughing because he's breathing it in. And then he's like, "All right, I had enough. We're doing this." And Avdol's like, "No, Polnareff. We must bond together as men." And they just start pissing in the pipe.
People ask me why I recommend it. I'm like, listen. Listen.
And you hear like spluttering down there. The poor guy.
And then he brings back that reference when Giorno drinks piss tea.
There we go. Boom. He just
Wow.
likes people drinking piss. What can I
That
say?
is a
Yeah, so
full
that was an
circle.
amazing one. Also, the Oingo Boingo episode when they think
That is the
Jotaro,
best episode.
when they think Jotaro is the other dude, like he's pretending to be Jotaro. Oh my god.
Honestly, the funniest
I
thing
think
is
the
they defeat Oingo and Boingo without even realizing
Yes.
that.
They never know that Oingo and Boingo exist.
I think I honestly prefer the comeback with Whole Horse and the little Boingo,
That was
Um,
pretty great also.
because
No, but
the whole
I like
episode
it.
is built on him getting the proper shot, but then it just turns out their clock was slightly off and he ends up shooting himself. And that's what the whole thing builds up to. That's
Yeah.
a great episode.
But in the Oingo Boingo one, it's like how Polnareff turns to fake Jotaro, who was Boingo, and he's like, "Hey, remember how you taught me to like flip a cigarette over in your mouth? Do it, do it!"
Oh, and with 6 cigarettes.
And he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, of course." Man, that was a pretty classic. That was a pretty classic episode.
I thought part 4 was hilarious. There
Oh,
was like a lot
definitely.
more room for comedy too.
Yeah, part 4 was pretty great.
Yeah,
the
but
whole
see,
the
I don't see
Angelo
any-
rock. Yo, Angelo.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
every time
okay.
they did that, I would die.
They're such
Like,
assholes. I love it.
Yeah, but to me, like the more standout moments were definitely in part 3 in terms of just like the classics of comedy.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, because I know that I laughed more at part 4, but I'm trying to think of moment other than the English moment that I'm thinking of. I guess I'll just go with the English one. That's obviously like the main reason you would want to watch part 4 subbed is whenever the nurse lady is giving Koichi shit because like, oh, you're too short. Are you old enough to go visit him? I don't think he wants visitors right now. And then he uses Act 3 to move the weights on her, and she's like, oh, help.
Yeah,
the classic,
do you
like,
remember?
let's kill the hole.
There we go.
Let's kill the house. Yeah. That is so, I hate it. It's so dumb. What about the part where he's gambling with Rohan and like sets his entire house on fire, and Rohan like doesn't give a shit because he really only cares about figuring out how the fuck Josuke is cheating.
Yes,
That is so good.
That
that
was
was
amazing.
I
great
love
too.
Rohan
How was
so
he
much.
cheating?
Yeah,
And it was
Rohan-
with
Rohan's
alien
one of
dude, right?
Yeah.
I love how that dude, like, we never figured out if he was an alien or not.
Or
Like,
just
he's
a stand
Is.
user. Yeah.
That is the most random character that everyone forgets about. He was actually an alien. Like he didn't.
Maybe. We don't know.
We don't know if he was
Alien.
like an insane stand user or an alien. We don't know.
I believe he was an alien.
Oh, he was an
Personally.
alien, 100%.
I choose
Well, I
to
don't-
believe. He seemed like a good man. I believe him.
I
believe him.
love him. Does anyone even remember his name?
I like that you guys assume.
Oh,
I-
it's Earth, Wind, and
Alien
Fire.
son.
Is,
you
I know
guys you guys say he's a man. I'm pretty sure he was like 15 years old.
No.
15.
Oh,
What?
wow, that's
no, he
JoJo.
was like
That's
hundreds
JoJo
of years
for you.
old. That was the
Bro,
whole thing.
He was a
like,
solid 6.5.
Bro, you know how JoJo's is like. You look like a 30-year-old pimp and you're only 14 years old.
oh, because he's
Wait,
like an
wait.
immortal alien, so he's like really old.
In part 5, where he's like, "You're driving like shit," and he's like, "I'm 15."
Yes. when I saw that, I was like, "What are you talking about?" He looks like a 30-year-old.
Oh my god,
pimp.
Giorno, do you even have a driver's license?
No, part 5 had some pretty great moments too. There was he's like Fugo like kindly says to Narancia, here's a math problem, and Narancia's like, okay. It's like 15 plus 6, and he's like, is it 50? And he just stabs him in the face with a fork. And he's like, what are you stupid?
It's 9 plus 10.
Well, there was also
my
the
gosh.
torture dance. There was the cafe
Oh, man.
beatdown.
I
No.
love that torture.
Part
dance.
4 is like
Oh,
amazing.
The
Or
the
in part
cafe
5,
beatdown was
Yeah,
so
no.
great.
that
Oh,
was amazing.
Josuke's best line ever. He's like, "I feel like it's New Year's Day, and I just have like a clean pair of underwear." Like, oh, yeah, true.
Man, JoJo's is amazing.
That is top
I
comedy.
mean, we're not even mentioning the fact that like every scene that Joseph is on screen in part 2 is just gold.
Oh yeah,
talking about part 2.
yeah. That's the thing
Like-
with part 2. It's so funny that it's hard to like point it down.
He sees Caesar hitting on someone, and he's like, "This douche!" He just shoots noodles at him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then their actual fight, he stuffs a pigeon in the lady's mouth, so whenever Caesar goes to kiss her, the pigeon hits him in the face.
Dude, even scenes that weren't even trying to be funny, I laughed my ass off for JoJo.
Oh, they're great.
When he's down on the ground, when what's his name thought he killed him, Wamu thought he's dead, and every time Wamu turns around, he crawls like.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, like how many times he did his secret technique of running away.
Run away.
Then people in the chat are mentioning Tequila Joseph.
Yes, obviously. It's
People are
like-
mentioning the Tommy gun. That was
Man, I
hilarious
love that
too.
that Tommy gun.
Oh, and we can't forget the nice moment.
Nice. No.
His mom.
Oh,
Yeah. Man, I love that. He's like, "Yo, Strezzo-san!" Like the vampire guy, and the vampire's like, I'm a vampire, right? He's like, I know. He just pulls out a Tommy gun out of his back pocket. He
That was
wrecks
so
the
good.
whole place. And the vampire's like, these bullets can't kill me. He's like, I'm only trying to annoy you.
That's another thing. I want to draw attention to that because I think this comes back to the whole dramatic thing, right? We have 9 episodes spent with the whole establishment of like Dio and Joseph, and basically Strezzo is essentially the same power level. He is a vampire, as Dio was in part 1. Of course, Dio understood more abilities because he took more time for that. But since he did that, you start out and you're like, oh shit, Strezzo's going to be the bad guy of part 2. And he literally fucking kills him in like the 2nd episode. And it's so great.
I know, they like put in this whole like setup for it, and then they're like, never mind. They're actually Egyptian gods in the basement.
Yeah.
and they're gonna be your antagonist. You're like, okay.
And then they kill him,
then-
and they're like, "That was our guard dog. We're the actual one." So it's like they dupe you twice in part
They
2 of
literally
who the bad guy
twice.
is.
They're actually
And
South
then you
American
have
gods.
Stronheim, the literal Nazi guy who was on their side, and he's
Whose
like,
dumb
"Wait,
voice is amazing, by the way.
Yes.
Rakamonaga!" It's like, and they ask him like, "How are you a cyborg?" German science, best in the world. It's like 1930, 1940.
Damn it, science is the
There's like a
best in
rabid
the world.
squirrel.
It's
God damn, I need to watch part 2 again.
Yeah, part 2 is so good.
It's so funny.
Oh, I know. Someone mentioned in the chat the Loro moment.
Little.
How did we not mention that so far?
Wait, have you done a Kakyoin ASMR?
I was gonna do a whole JoJo ASMR video, because there is enough of them.
That would be amazing.
Well, you
Problem
definitely
is,
need a
like-
top-notch 3DO for the Loro.
I even bought cherries at the store, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this.
You may have outsmarted me, but I've outsmarted your outsmarting. It's just, every line is so good.
Oh damn it!
This became a JoJo appreciation stream, and I'm not upset.
I'm here for it. Damn, I do have to go though. I told Nux I had an hour.
Yeah, I know. It's our bad. We started a little late.
That's okay.
That's always
Thank you
us.
for-
That's
thank you
always
for
us.
having me. It flew
Our
by.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good getting to
GB.
meet you. Good getting to meet
Pretty
you.
Yeah.
funny.
Pleasure to
stuff.
meet you too.
Bye guys. Have a good time talking about anime.
See
Or
ya.
laughing.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.
See ya,
chat.
GB. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you next time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So are we gonna do this for a little bit longer? And
Yeah,
then go
we
into
can do
the
it for a
light
little
novel?
longer because
Of course,
I
we
have
didn't
to.
mention interspecies reviewers. A 10 out of 10 anime. That's the top of my anime list, even beating Furumeto Daruki Mr. Brezudo.
Yeah, you can't like. There's so many moments. How do you even pick one?
You Piccolo wannabe. All right, picked one.
Oh, I also want to mention. So there's a lot of anime with really funny ones like Saiki Kusuo.
Yeah,
Every time my bro Kaido comes on screen,
I love Kaido.
Justice Knights of
Oh my
Thunder.
That
Oh.
was that was my intro to my YouTube channel before like anything. That song, that Judgment.
It should be.
Judgment Knights of Thunder. It doesn't even say thunder in the actual.
It is Thunder.
anime.
I think.
It is thunder, but it doesn't say the word
Yeah,
thunder.
probably.
in the anime.
Probably. Yeah.
And the guy just freaks out. Dark reunion.
No, yeah,
I
he's
think
great.
The funniest episode, the episode where Kaido is introduced, it's like first he's being made fun of or whatever, that he's a loser, and he goes to the bathroom and he's like crying in the bathroom stall, and he comes in. Meanwhile, there's this snake that broke out of a zoo, and it bites Nendo in the balls, and Nendo's like dying on the floor, right? You know Nendo, he's also
Yeah,
amazing.
Nendo is a legend. Yeah.
I love him.
Nendo
Nendo's
is like their Briggs.
Well, I'm
And-
glad that you guys like him.
And Kaido just like, he's like, all right, now's my chance. And he like brushes his cloak back. He points at the snake and he goes, Judgment Knights of Thunder at the same exact time as Saiki drops a lightning bolt on the snake. So he thinks that he has actual magic powers. Man, I love Kaido. And Nendo's also. He's
No, it's a
amazing.
great show overall, and of course, Psyche's grandpa scenes are some of the
Oh
best.
my god.
Some of the best in the business.
And there's also that magician that's terrible at magic.
Yeah, but he ends up like doing this whole elaborate thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Psyche's like, oh my god, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's gonna die. So Psyche teleports into the box with the swords. It's such a good show. Oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. Also, a scene I
And
want to
the
mention.
fact that they explain, it's like many people wonder, why do anime characters in so many different anime have weird colored hair? Well, the answer is simple. I was born with pink hair and I would stand out. So I altered the genes of every anime character to have multicolored hair so I wouldn't stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It's
it's
like,
funny because
what?
Psyche, it's like there's no end to his various powers. You just keep
Yeah.
learning more powers. So I know a lot of people haven't seen this anime from what I've seen, so I feel like Hiding probably has. School Rumble.
I've seen it so long ago, I don't really remember it.
There is one standout scene, and that is when Harima grabs Eri basically, it's like this big misunderstanding where he's trying to get her attention and talk to her, like they're school friends and they're at the beach. But he grabs her in like a dark room and he's naked. And he grabs her from behind and so that she doesn't scream and gets, because she's getting surprised, he puts his hand on her mouth. And then it keeps getting weirder and weirder as he's trying to explain why they're in this situation. And she keeps thinking like, is he about to like,
Yeah, the obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just a great scene.
Oh boy.
Yeah. School Rumble was funny. I do remember that, but
Yeah, Harima is.
and
a
also,
great one.
hey, thank you, Ludicrous Fun, for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
Thank you, sir.
So there's my favorite scene in Daily Life of High School Boys.
Oh, so many good ones there. Yeah.
There are many good ones. It is a hilarious anime, but one scene stands out to me more than any other. When we were kids, we all role played in our favorite anime or whatever, and we've done it. Like, we've picked up sticks and imagined they were like, freaking Excalibur. All right,
Bro,
we've all
kids,
been.
what are you talking about? I do that every Wednesday for
I mean,
One Piece D&D.
I'm saying kids to make people in the chat not feel awkward, but you'll never grow out of it. Anyway, that said, it's like you had a whole bunch of these dudes, like they're all holding sticks and they're making believe they're in an RPG, like they can only walk certain amount of steps at a time, and they're all acting like morons with their sticks above their heads. And then like 2 girls walk by, and like as they're crossing the street, they're just like looking at them, and they're all completely frozen, holding their sticks like in the air, with like in weird poses. And then the moment the girls walk away, they all at the same time, they like hunch their shoulders and they drop their sticks and they like slowly walk away. They're like completely defeated.
Oh, I love it. I love the sister.
Oh, we're
I think
getting
the stream
Fs.
went down.
F's in the chat, streams down.
Well, we can keep talking for the podcast. I
Right.
love this moment with the sister panties confusion.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was amazing. And I think Daily Life of High School Boys, pretty much, it's the brother show to Nichijou.
Yeah,
is
that's
like,
the thing. That's why I watched Daily Lives of High School Boys, because I was like, oh, Nichijou seems too girly, but the other one was for me.
Well, I have to say, I've seen both. I prefer Nichijou to Daily Life of High School Boys.
Wow.
And like just the craziness of so many of the scenes. Like Daily Life of High School Boys is mostly just about awkward stuff that we could relate to. But like Nichijou it takes that to an extreme. It's like you got principals suplexing deers.
Yes.
You got it's the craziest and it's the idea of how it abuses its
Animation
real
budget.
life, its animation budget, and it's the world. It's so great. And I watched the first episode with Briggs, and I mean, it didn't. Briggs is not the biggest fan.
All right. I thought there were some stand-up funny moments, but I don't know. It wasn't my style of comedy.
Yeah, but
I find it pretty
I'm
funny.
a
It's not my
type of guy.
It's not my favorite of it. I definitely prefer Lucky Star, but I feel like Lucky Star would probably be even farther away from what Animac would want to check out.
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen all of Lucky Star. I've seen parts of it, and I don't know.
Have you
It's
seen
not.
Lucky Star,
Hiding?
God
Have you-
breed. It's a slow burn only for those with dome high 189 IQ. It's perfect, most intellectual and also emotional and also beautiful and also gorgeous and also compliment word show to ever exist. I'm going to take this as an opportunity to transfer into another Lucky Star moment. So Lucky Channel, as I established earlier, is something that happens like consistently throughout the show. Every episode ends with it, and it gets a little more ridiculous episode to episode, and it keeps getting. It's funny. It's a good old time. But there's one part, because the old idol girl who fucking loves smoking, is always shitting on Minoru Imaishi, which is this other kind of interny type of guy, and eventually. He's like slowly getting worn down, but he's trying so hard to succeed in the business. So he's trying so hard to be nice and be a team player. And he's so likable and lovable, and it's all great. Eventually, she tells him, I want you to get me water from Mount Fuji, or else I've been hearing people talking about firing you around here. And like, she's like being that much of a dick. And he's like, really? So then it becomes Lucky Channel for the next 3 episodes is like her sitting there by herself with a camera crew tracking Minoru Shiraishi climbing Mount Fuji by himself to get to the top to get this thing of Fuji water. So that's not even the joke. That's not even the payoff. This is still.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, to be honest.
Yeah. He gets back and he goes, here, and he's like, there's cuts on him. He's like bruised up and terrible. His clothing is ripped. He looks like he smells like garbage. Puts it on the table and he goes, there, I have it. And she goes, what the hell is this? And he goes, what do you mean? That's the water from Mount Fuji that you went. And she goes, oh. She opens it up. She takes a sip. She goes, she spits it out. She throws it at him, and she goes, this is disgusting. Okay, fine. I guess you can't even do that right. And this is like the peak. So this is kind of spoilers for Lucky Star, but this is the peak of Lucky Channel. He loses his shit and starts screaming at her and physically attacking her. And then the cameras are tracking him. It's like, turn those cameras off. And he runs towards the cameras and it goes into like a error not available. And that's how the episode ends. It's this giant buildup that lasts basically half of the show for these ending segments. And that's the build-up moment where he loses his shit. And then the next Lucky Channel episode, there's a new little guy sitting next to the idol girl. He got replaced. It's great. It's so great. Lucky Star is a master of subtle, dry humor and long setups. It's crazy. So, like, if you watch
The thing is, my issue with Lucky Star is the long, dry humor that sometimes doesn't pay off. If it would always pay off, I'd be all for it. But it's the idea that the first episode, I don't think any of the jokes land.
I don't even think they're telling jokes in the first episode, and that's why it's funny.
No, they argue about whether you should eat the crepe or whatever from the top or from the
they're
bottom.
Just having a normal conversation.
Yeah, it's painful.
Oh, it is.
Although,
it totally is. I feel like it's almost like gatekeeping the anime. They're almost like, this is where the otakus stand, and this is where the otakus continue.
All right, that's funny. So this anime is not necessarily a comedy, even though I think this is one of my favorite comedic moments in all of anime, and it is Angel Beats.
Oh, interesting.
So there's one scene in Angel Beats where they're all trying to take a test, but they want to make sure that the teacher is always distracted. So one of them gets up and is like, I accidentally pooped myself. So the whole class would be distracted, and the teacher... And no one reacts, like just dead silence. Everyone's continuing the test, nothing going on. And he like sits down defeated. And the student council president girl, she like clicks a button and the chair has a little rocket launcher on the bottom and just launches him into the ceiling. And then 2 seconds later, someone else is like, it's their turn. So I don't remember what they do. It's like he just takes off all of his clothes or something and stands on his chair. And the place is in complete silence. And he's just like, oh no. And she just pushes the button. And he also has a rocket launcher on his chair. Launches him into the ceiling. And he's like stuck in there. Then the next guy, it's his turn to like cause a distraction. He's just like shaking. He's losing it. He's like, oh no. And he also tries something. And it doesn't work. And he's just like, no. And there's nothing happens. And he's like really happy about it. Like, whew, he's safe. And then she pushes the button. It's like that scene kills me every time, and people don't really remember it because it's like Angel Beats is old. It's like 2010, so it's like a decade old at this point, and people remember it for its emotional scenes.
Yeah.
But this one scene is so funny. Like,
no, I thought the ending was hilarious. Like, they're all crying, fucking pussies.
Sure.
I'm joking.
Yes. By the way, the stream is like very dead.
Yeah. So basically, at this point, I'm guessing it's Brigo's internet, but we just gotta keep going on with the podcast because we're recording it anyway. At least the audio.
Are we gonna do the chapter today?
Yeah, we should if we can get the stream up. Obviously. What was I gonna say? Any other scenes that really stand out?
Well, I think that like Konosuba kills it in the comedy department.
Oh yeah,
Overly cautious hero. God damn, that is a funny show.
What would you say? So we know that Konosuba has a ton of funny moments. What would you say is your funniest moment
in all of Konosuba?
Yeah, like something that just jumps out at you.
Megumin covered in slime on Kazuma's back, saying, like, oh, you're really gonna do this to a girl? You're really gonna do... And then everybody's looking at him, and he's like, and he ends up getting guilted into getting her, and she has the Smugumin face. where she looks at him with the smug face, and that's how she was required to be added to the group.
I don't know. That's not my standout moment.
Yeah, that's not my like.
Well, if you're talking about the first moment I think of, that is the first moment.
Like you have the penny stealing.
So I have to say the first moment that comes to my mind. The first moment that comes to my mind when I think funny moments in Konosuba is probably when Kazuma's about to be transported to the other world, and Aqua tells him to pick one thing, and after thinking about it, he picks her just to spite her because she's being a dick. I think that is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, there's also that other like more conventional.
When he steals the guy's sword.
Yeah, the other conventional protagonist. Yeah.
Mitsurugi with the cursed sword, whatever. Olam. I don't remember what it's called.
And of course, Darkness has some amazing moments.
She does. Okay, you know what? I take it back. This is my go-to funny moment. When we have a whole episode where Megumin's like explaining how she loves explosions, and Kazuma does not get it.
Yeah,
and at first she's like, "We need Kazuma come with me to go to whatever, some open area, so I could just make my explosion of the day. I need you to come with me because I need you to carry me back." Right? So they go every day, and Kazuma's getting more and more into it to the point that they're like dancing to the place where they're going to make the explosion. Kazuma's so excited, and she makes her explosion. Kazuma's like super happy about it. And the place that they happen to pick is this old abandoned castle.
Yes.
And then later, the Dulahan guy just shows up to their village and is like, "I don't understand. I didn't sleep in months. Why? Why? What did I do to you? Why is it that every day someone just comes and blows up my castle for no reason? I didn't do anything." And I don't
know why I forgot about that. That is definitely one of the
That's what I meant when I said the Demon Lord.
He completely snaps. He just went nuts. He just wants to live his own nice, happy life in this abandoned tower. And for whatever reason that he can't figure out, there's a nuke falling on it every single day.
Honestly, that feels like my life. I feel like I just relate to the Demon Lord, and that's why I relate to the Dulahan. I'm like,
I think he's like a subordinate of the Demon Lord, technically.
Yeah. He's actually one of the demon generals.
Yeah, I relate to him. I feel like maybe that's why I kind of want to cry, and so that is why I think it's so funny.
And the fact that Darkness misses her attacks. She's beaten by flying cabbage.
Yes, the cabbage scene.
And the ultimate attack is Vanir, the guy who like he puts his mask on someone and mind controls them. If he puts his mask on Darkness, like she's stupidly strong because Darkness has like max Crusader stats. She just misses her attacks. It's beautiful. I love Konosuba so much. It's so good.
It truly is. Hiding, have you seen Chobits?
Yeah.
Okay.
I made a video on it.
Classic. Nice. I knew that I could count on you for something. Do you remember the scene when he goes to first buy like underwear for Chi?
Mm-hmm.
And when he's like standing outside the store, like all nervous and shit, and then
everybody thinks he's like this total perv.
Yeah, and then this little girl comes out. It's like, "Mommy, why is that man sweating?" That was so good.
I feel like you've mentioned that to me before.
I did, and then the woman's like to the daughter's like, "Oh my god, get away from him! Get away from him!" Yeah. Oh, that was great.
I mean, there were some like, man, there's a lot of funny moments in anime. Like, there's this scene in Assassination Classroom. The whole show's so good. I don't know. I'm specifically thinking of how he can basically make clones of himself because he's moving so quickly. So he has like a clone of him for each of the students in his classroom, like just zipping by one at one. So they each have like a private tutor, and they're all wearing the teacher's garb, except there's that one dumb, like brutish kid in the class. And he's wearing like Naruto's jumpsuit and a Leaf Ninja headband.
Yeah.
On his clone for that guy, because otherwise he won't pay attention. I don't know. I thought that was great.
No,
the fact that they keep trapping him with like hentai.
Koro Sensei has so many funny moments. Yes. And then it turns out that he's, an actual absolute badass. But anyway.
Yeah.
And yet he's still a pervy, awesome weirdo. I love it.
Have we talked about One Punch Man at all?
No, we haven't.
Oh
No,
my
we
god, we haven't. Hey, Ludicrous Fun donates 5,000 bits to say Zura Janai Katsura da.
I love Ludicrous Fun. He's just ludicrous, man.
He's
Fun.
ludicrous. But before we say One Punch Man, I have to honor Ludicrous Fun, one of the stream sponsors. Because my favorite Zura Janai Katsura da is the following. Basically, there's this guy named Katsura. He was actually one of these 4 badasses in the past, but that's explained a little later. He leads a little rebellion because Edo, the country that they're in, was basically conquered by aliens, and like they made a bunch of rules that people can't wield swords. So he's basically leading this little rebel force. So like the police are always looking for him. He's the #1 wanted man, and his name is Katsura. But everyone calls him Zura because the main character calls him Zura. And every time they call him Zura, he says, Zura Janai Katsura da! My name is not Zura, my name is Katsura. Now, the funniest scene where that happens, because that's like, you know, the joke in Konosuba, it's like, Kazuma, hi, Kazuma des, you know, whenever they say his name. So Zura has that kind of meme going on. But the funniest thing is there's this anonymous chat group where like a bunch of police are in the chat. And like, do you know anything about whatever? And they're just talking about different things. And they ask advice to like this one guy whose anonymous name he picked is like Cherry Blossom Ninja or something. He's like, Cherry Blossom Ninja, do you know something? And he's like, Cherry Blossom Ninja Janai Katsura. He just flips out, even though that's the name he picked for himself. And they're like, wait a second.
He exposes himself. That is hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's so many moments, but we should probably transition into the read through because there's people we told to come in, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah, guys. So again, repeating, if you don't know, we have a Rancafe light novel that I am writing with consultations from Briggs and Knox, also known as Knox.
Briggs and Knox.
And right now we have the prologue and 3 chapters out on web novel, and the third chapter is the one that we're going to be reading. And also on Patreon we have a new chapter that is out for patrons $5 and up. Nux, go ahead.
So we need Core, Evanito,
Dakota, and Mouse. All of them.
Dakota and Mouse. All right, I need to send a different one to Core because he's not in our server yet.
No, just send them the Hangouts link now because we're on Hangouts.
This is easier.
Bro, we need to be in Hangouts.
Well, because the link is already in the server, so if they add to the server and just told to click on the link, it'll be easier.
I got you. Hopefully we're not gonna crash for the live, but we do have the audio.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's steady right now, but every once in a while it just crashes out of nowhere, and I don't know.
Oh, it's probably just internet bullshit. Oh my god, there are core emotes in the chat. That is crazy.
Amazing.
That's pretty nuts.
Can't wait for him to join so I can tell him, hey, buddy. Well, I'll hold off.
Well, you could stay. You don't have to leave.
Oh, I won't leave, at least not immediately. It's a read-through, so I mean, I won't really have anything to do. But I definitely
you don't have anything to do yet. Hiding. You don't have anything to do yet, but wait till we get to Animakistan.
Chapter 4.
Man, I'm so
Available
glad
on
we
Patreon.
talk about like 3 Gintama moments this stream. Damn, that never happens.
Yeah, so hiding in public will be introduced when our heroes get to Animakistan.
Hey, Evan!
What's up, bitches? Oh,
Yo!
Hey, can you be a little less inappropriate?
Oh, whoa. Why are you yelling at me? What the hell did I do to you?
Dude, again? Really?
So basically,
Breaking out all
here's the
these
thing.
words.
Animak is the main writer, all right? I am at this point voicing the narrator and the main character so far. Hiding is here to adjudicate justice.
Oh, so really? Is that why Hiding's yelling at me? Wow.
Hiding could voice Blair because we don't have a Blair.
All right, Hiding, you can voice Blair.
Okay.
Who is Blair? You should find out.
Wait, are you guys still alive? What is this?
Yeah, we're live.
We're doing this.
We are live.
Oh God, I came in saying the B word. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Don't be a
accidentally
bitch,
cuss
Evan.
all the time on here.
Yeah, so if you want to actually... Core! It's Mouse.
Hey, yo,
Hey,
what's up?
Mouse!
It's the better
Hey,
version of
Mousy.
Core.
Hello there.
Hello. go.
Mousy, I have some words. For
Welcome,
you.
Mousy, the professional truck chum.
Mousy, first of all, how dare you not like my tier list? Secondly, Mousy, the fact that every single time I stream, people play your song like over and over and
Why would that
over
even be an
again,
issue?
Mousy.
It's the bop of a century.
No, Mousy, no, I like the song, Mousy. It's just the fact that they play it
No,
so
he
often.
doesn't. Beat him up. Beat him
They don't
up.
play
Kill
it
him.
enough.
Yo, I say. All right.
A witch. Burn the witch. Burn the witch.
Oh
Hey,
God.
Dakota.
Oh God, Dakota, you're loud. You're so loud.
Really?
It wasn't too loud for me.
No,
I'm
he
telling you
was
guys,
good.
Mousy is taking over because Melody's popular, but Mousy speaks Spanish, so she's got a whole different subset audience that she can tap into.
I'm teaching Melody Spanish. I'm teaching her Spanish.
Can't no. Stay away.
She knows how to say Mama Mello.
Oh, Dakota, we are live, by the way.
Of course.
Yes, Dakota, we're live. Oh, we should
I
probably.
shouldn't say anything that I would regret.
That's good.
Your audio sounds really weird though.
Why is Dakota so loud for me?
Yeah, I don't know. Are you talking through the right mic? Like, is the right mic?
You know what? I'm on internet, so it's different. Hold on.
Well, I mean, we're all technically on internet.
I don't know about me, man. My
Kevin.
internet's been fucking up.
Google Chrome of fucking. All right, try that. How about
Well,
that?
that sounds a lot better.
Much
Oh, yeah.
better, yeah.
Also,
yeah.
we're gonna do audio only. I think.
Yeah, you can do audio only because it's just a read through, and also
But my face.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
your face will probably lag us up. I'm sorry, bro.
That's fine. At least I got drink and pour my own drink on Twitch now. All right, fine.
This is so sad.
I'm excited for this, everybody. It's it's going down.
Where's Core? Isn't Core supposed to be there?
Man,
Core is
Core
supposed to be.
Core.
Did you add him,
Core-
Max?
I
Poor drop
Animac.
in score review
Yeah.
Starlight.
Animac off topic while we're waiting.
Yes.
Noelle is so fucking good right now. Holy fucking.
yeah,
Oh
like she definitely didn't win this fight.
She
but-
is so good. She's not gonna win, but she's gonna do some fucking heavy damage. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Guys, if you want to go to the web novel link or the Google Rank Cafe web novel or whatever, and if you want to read along with us, chapter 4 or chapter 3, the Kinky Tavern is up there, so you can follow along with us. And if you, while you're there, leave us a power stone, give us a review, help support the cause.
Cause and effect.
Yay.
For the cause, you're the effect. That is a very beautiful name for a chapter. The Kinky Tavern.
Evan, you've never seen this, so you're blind reacting right now, right?
I am literally blind reacting. I have no idea what's about to happen.
Perfect.
I think I read it. I didn't really understand what was going on.
All right, that's
Like,
better. It's better if it's blind. That probably.
Good, because I kind of read the third chapter, but I looked at I don't know. I read it, but I didn't understand it. I kind of understood what was going on.
Well,
but
I
didn't
sent
know
you
who was
all the
who.
chapters, bro.
I love how we send everything to everyone except
we
for
have
Evan.
work to do.
May
fam.
have
Come on
skipped
now.
to the third chapter.
Well, I did send it to Evan, but he
He
was
did.
too busy, bro. He was
I'm
too busy,
busy,
making
bro.
really great tier lists for Twitter.
I hate you all.
Should we do it without Core for now, because he's not around? It
Yeah,
seems.
sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
that's fine.
He
Just go
shows
ahead.
up later, and if not, if he's not here, then we'll get
Wait, hold on.
someone to do
Oh.
it. I can
choose
do it.
that.
Thank you, Hiding. I appreciate it. You're going to message the server, right?
Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
think
getting
I will.
into the spirit of the chapter, Dakota.
Yeah, of course. Wait, am I the drunk in the chapter?
You just said you read the chapter.
I read the chapter, but I didn't understand who was me because it didn't say my name.
It
You
said
do your homework.
Dakota Broski, bro.
Did it really?
Is that not your name?
Which chapter are we reading?
Okay, so
All
you
right,
said
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's chapter 3.
Oh, there
I
you
say we get started.
it's chapter 3
Alright.
on the file that I sent you, but on web novel it's chapter 4 because they count prologue as chapter 1.
Oh, you know what? I read chapter 3 and then I read the pro. That's what it was. Okay,
All right. We got Core in the house.
Yes.
Hey,
Howdy.
get the reference, people? Probably
That-
not.
that-
It's an anime before
Nuts.
your time.
Shut the fuck up.
Buddy.
Holy shit.
This man is used to the core in the house joke. It seems.
Core gets
biggest-
invited and he immediately leaves.
My biggest regret is that I can't turn Nux's volume down here, and it saddens me.
My biggest
right.
regret is that with Discord, I have a key that I could use to mute everyone, so I can shut you guys up whenever I want. It's amazing.
Basically, what Briggs is saying is Discord is awesome.
Basically,
Never in my life.
Basically,
my
is
life.
what I'm saying is that you guys took 35 more minutes than it should have to start this podcast, so I may be a little bit more tipsy than I should be.
That's perfect because you're a bartender. Anyway, you want to get into the meat and
great.
potatoes?
Drink more.
Yeah, let's get into it, guys. Again, web novel, the link, you can follow it, Google it, or follow it in the description or in
Briggs.
the chat.
Please stop moving around the cursor.
Let's do it.
All right, so the latest
on,
chapter
come
ended
on.
with a very fantastic line. It was a hard night in more ways than one. I'm sure we all appreciate the pun. It was pretty epic.
Wait, nobody
Yeah,
sent
you're
me. Wait. Time out. Nobody sent me the link.
Okay, so it's in the chat. You have access to the chat? No?
Core does not have access. I don't
Oh, I
think
see
he's
it.
in
I
the
see it.
server.
I'm here. Hi.
Core, you
I'm
want to
here.
join the
All right.
join the server? Hey, Core's in
I'm
the
in.
server.
I'm in.
All right.
Here's the link to the actual chapter in the server, like to chapter 4. So you're right on there. And then let's follow along from the chapter, not from the file that I sent you, because I did make some minor changes. So it'll be easier if you just follow from web novel.
Gotcha.
Wait, so should I not read it from the Google Drive?
No, actually, I did update the Google Drive, but maybe web novel is an easier to read thing.
I'm gonna read it
Up to
on the web novel. Too bad. It's
All
easier
I
on
know
my
is that
phone.
Do whatever you
Truck has
want,
big
because
tits, I'm
Google
happy
Drive
with
is
that.
now updated. Yes.
Perfect. Let's do it. Chapter 3, the Kinky Tavern. All right.
And
I was
chapter 4
woken
for
up
this.
suddenly by Brigo. He shook me by the shoulder until I opened my eyes, and then he offered me some water from his canteen. Briggs,
I found a stream not far from here, so I filled up on water for both of us.
he said.
Time to get up, Burrito. We'll be leaving soon.
I took a sip of water without thinking, then I rubbed my eyes and tried to get a grip on my surroundings. It was early morning and the sun was out, but it was still low in the sky. I put on my glasses and slipped on my shoes. The shoes were dry now, but they still smelled like urine. I turned to look at Truck-chan and I quickly realized that she was no longer human. She has transformed back into a truck, and I had been lying there in the grass and spooning one of her rear wheels.
What the fuck
Good
are
morning,
you?
Burrito-kun.
She said cheerfully.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I guess, I muttered, still trying to get my bearings. I was half asleep. You're a truck again.
Uh-huh. I'm back to normal.
Briggs.
I woke up. Oh, I'm so bad. Sorry, but my apologies, guys.
Motherfucker.
I woke up at I woke up at daybreak, and she was a truck.
Brigo explained.
I didn't see it happen, but it looks like my theory was correct. She is a truck during the day and a human at night.
I nodded and took another sip of water. Then I handed the canteen back to Brigo.
So, how did you sleep, Truck-chan?
Brigo asked.
Oh, good. It was fine. Well, I did feel this pointy feeling once in a while, like something was poking me from behind. Being human is weird.
Oh, yes.
Brigo said with his smirk.
Gentle poking at night is a normal part of being human, right, Burrito?
My face turned bright red. I'm gonna go take a look around, I said, and stood up. I wanted to get out of this awkward situation as soon as possible, and since this world was still completely new to me, some independent exploring might do me good. But most importantly, I needed to pee again, and I wasn't about to drain snakes together with Brigo, so I needed an excuse to sneak off on my own.
Sure thing, Burrito.
Brigo said.
But please don't take too long. I'm gonna warm up the meat from last night, and then we need to leave. We should be on the road within an hour.
Oh, that food was so good.
Truck-chan said and giggled.
And I'm still so full. Ooh.
I nodded and walked towards the trees as Brigo held the rest of the meat up to the fire. I tried to calm myself down and look at things rationally. The sooner I make my peace with the insanity of the situation, the sooner I can find a way to get back home. And I need to find a way back. I doubt that I'll be able to maintain my sanity for long. She actually said ooh ooh again. I didn't see anything too strange as I walked past the trees and down a clearing full of plants and flowers. Some of the flowers that I saw were similar to the flowers in the real world, and others were clearly different, like these giant blue roses that were nearly the size of my head. The same goes for the smells. Some were familiar and others were vastly different. The giant blue roses in particular had a scent unlike any rose I've ever seen before. I could have sworn they smelled like coffee. Ditto for the insects. Some seemed familiar, while others looked utterly bizarre, including what can only be described as purple bees. These bees were loud and menacing, and they seemed to be especially interested in the giant roses. I kept my distance from the bees. As I looked around, I saw nothing but grass and trees all around me. Off in the distance, there were only hills and mountaintops. No cities or villages here, and no real signs of civilization of any kind. I drained my snake in private next to a nearby tree, and then I headed back to the spot where Truck-chan and Brigo were waiting. We ate the meat quickly, packed up the few belongings we had with us, and then we took our leave. I sat inside the truck, and Brigo climbed up on the roof just like before. Truck-chan's fuel gauge was back to full, something that didn't even surprise me at this point. In the perpetual state of confusion within which I found myself, Brigo's story about the Equine Princess made about just as much sense as any other crazy thing in this world. Truck-chan drove slowly and carefully over the grass until we reached the gravel road again. Then she resumed her drive at a more reasonable pace, and before the rising sun emerged from below the mountaintops, we were well on our way. It was a long and mostly uneventful trip. Every once in a while, we would come across some man-made structures. There were farms and barns, a few houses cluttered together, and on rare occasions, a larger structure, like an inn, would pop up on the road. Many of these buildings were run down or even abandoned altogether, and I was beginning to wonder whether this entire fantasy world was a crumbling wasteland. However, Brigo assured me that that was not the case. He explained that we were currently traveling through the Lawless Lands, an area that lies on the periphery of what was once Twigoslavia. This part of the country is isolated, sparsely populated, and had almost no economy to speak of. As a result, once Twigoslavia broke up into the rival kingdoms of Animakistan and Nocturia, neither kingdom wanted to take responsibility for this part of the country. Trying to keep order in such a remote and economically stagnant region required more resources than either kingdom was willing to part with. So this part of the country became known as the Lawless Lands, a rugged no-man's land full of smugglers, bandits, and pirates. But as the day began to set again on a long day of travel, Brigo assured us that unlike the Lawless Lands, Animakistan was a safe, stable, and wealthy country. We were almost there, he said, and before we arrived at the border, we would have to find a place to spend the night. After all, Truck-chan was about to become human soon, and that would stop our current method of travel in its tracks.
There!
Brigo said, pointing up ahead. It was another inn, or at least that's what it looked like. A large building made of wood and stone was rising before us, and we could see dozens of lights shining through the open windows. Many horses were tied up outside, and the rambunctious voices of the inn's patrons could be heard long before we arrived at the building itself.
A friend of mine owns that inn.
Brigo explained.
Dakota Broski is his name, and he was one of the greatest bartenders in all of Twigoslavia. We will rest here tonight, and before lunchtime tomorrow, we'll be in Animakistan.
Okay, I said, as Truck-chan pulled up to the building. Several of the inn's patrons were chatting and smoking outside, but they couldn't help but stare at Truck-chan as we arrived. They also quickly noticed Brigo sitting on the roof, and they began talking amongst themselves in hushed tones.
Service!
Brigo called out as he jumped down from the roof. Seconds later, one of the building's wooden doors flew open, and a neatly dressed young man emerged. Briggs.
What can I do for you, sir?
I can do that. I can do it.
Wait, hold on. No. I have, yes, boy, hello, Briggs said, and the boy nodded politely. I have that in my...
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Alright, let me open up.
Brigo, you say yes, boy, hello.
Just say yes, boy, hello.
I want the right version now. Give me a second, boys. I know it's gonna happen
literally
again,
said
I'm sure.
to open the right version before you started. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
you guys said that, and then started before I could open it up. Which is why I wasn't ready when you guys start
Basically, moral of the story, it's hiding in Public's problem. He needed to adjudicate better.
Clearly.
God damn it, hiding.
As long as I'm not the one fucking up, I'm good.
No, you're coming up.
You're coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very soon. Get prepared.
I'm reading it right now. I'm like trying to figure out where the fuck am I at.
Damn, bro, I didn't even...
You guys trust me a lot. I can't believe you didn't even read it. You're like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
No, that's the thing. I don't think they should be allowed to read it before.
All right, I'm here.
All
Oh,
right,
it still
give
says,
it-
what can I do for you, sir? Okay.
Yeah, but the line right before that is "Yes, boy, hello." Brigo
Yes,
said.
boy, hello.
There we go. Brigo said, as the boy nodded politely.
I thought it was the wrong version. My apologies.
What can I do for you, sir?
Briggs.
Is Dakota here tonight?
Yes, sir.
I'm getting
Same as
situated.
every
Shut
night.
the fuck up, Knox.
I'm sorry.
Look,
Yes,
I read
sir.
chapter 3.
Sometimes
like
there could be a
5
pause between
times,
sentences.
which is the fucking 4th chapter apparently. So I'm very nervous right now.
You got
Yes,
this,
sir.
man.
Same as every night. He's serving drinks at the bar.
Brigo smiled.
Serving drinks to the customers or to himself?
About half-half.
The young man said and smiled back.
Tell him that an old friend is here to see him. Brigo's the name.
Yes, sir.
The young man said and bowed. He rushed back inside, and not 30 seconds later, the door flew open again.
Brigo!
Someone called out, and then the figure of a man appeared in the doorway. The man had a strong, muscular frame and piercing dark eyes. He had a goatee and long, dark hair tied up in a ponytail. And most interestingly of all, he wore a black tailored suit with a red bow tie. Brigo and his friend smiled and embraced each other firmly. It was the manliest hug that I've ever seen. Massive slaps on each other's backs and shoulders.
God,
I
I'm
watched the
sexy.
entire scene unfold from inside the truck. Some of the characters who stood by the buildings looked suspicious, maybe even outright dangerous, and I was hesitant to step outside. I could swear that one of the men who stood outside the inn had horns on his head. But I thought that maybe he was simply wearing a horned helmet, and I was imagining things in the creeping darkness of twilight. But the man Brigo had called his friend seemed friendly enough. His choice of clothing told me that this man must have been isekai'd from the real world at some point in the past, since he looked like a classy bartender from an uptown lounge in Tokyo, not a lowly innkeeper from some medieval fantasy world.
What brings you to this neck of the woods?
Dakota asked Brigo in an extremely exciting manner.
I'm here with some friends.
I'm kidding. It's all kidding.
I'm here with some friends. We're looking for a place to spend the night. Then we're heading to the border in the morning.
Dakota nodded.
Well, you're more than welcome to come here, my friend.
He called out to the same young man from before, and the boy hurried to make the necessary preparations.
There are 3 of us.
Brigo added.
That's my friend Birito right there.
He pointed at me, and I waved through the window. Dakota waved back.
There's also a girl, but she's in the carriage.
Oh my, oh my.
Dakota said as he finally took notice of the truck.
Where'd you find a carriage like that? Like this one around this wilderness? Looks like there's a truck from our world.
Yes,
From our
it's-
world.
Yes, it's quite a rare specimen. I couldn't have made it here so quickly without it, and time is of the essence. Have you heard of the demon Lord Havoc?
I've heard, hold on. I've heard rumors of power.
That was perfect.
That's so fitting. That's so fitting. He's gathered
Yeah, he
a
has-
large army in the north, and he's been invading kingdoms left and right. It won't be long before he comes knocking on the doors of Twigoslavia. I need to get through to Animak and Nuxanor before it's too late.
Dakota
I
nodded.
see. I've been isolated out there, and I've lost track of this world's events. At any rate, I'm at your service. I'll do anything you need to help.
Thank you, my friend.
He's
Brigo
been drinking a lot,
said-
guys. It's canon.
Oh, by the way, would you happen to have some women's clothing I could borrow? The girl I told you about, she was robbed by some bandits, and her clothes were ruined. She's of average height, but her chest is, well, above average, if you know what I mean.
Dakota chuckled.
Yes, I know what you mean. I don't have much here that fits that description, but I'm sure I can find some barmaid outfits that will fit her.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, my friend. No problem at all. But now, Brigo, shall we drain this snake together as old friends should?
Brigo laughed.
Well, of course. Would I come before an old friend with a dry snake? Let us go there to those trees.
Brigo pointed at a group of trees that were a dozen steps away, and then he turned to me to ask if I wanted to join them. I waved them off and mouthed that I didn't have to pee, and Brigo nodded. He said that he'd be right back, and then the 2 men proceeded to engage in a round of social urination. I saw them talking and laughing and slapping each other on the back while relieving themselves. And then Dakota went back inside the inn while Brigo approached the truck again.
Okay, Burrito.
He said,
Dakota has some empty stables at the back of the building. Let's take Truckshon there and wait for her transformation to occur before going inside. I don't want anyone to see it happen. It would raise too many questions. I even lied to Dakota about it, and I despise lying to friends. I just don't want curious bandits and mercenaries snooping around. They could delay our journey, and if that happens, we might be too late to stop the Demon Lord.
I nodded. Sure, I understand. I agreed wholeheartedly with Brigo's cautious approach. I was completely clueless and helpless in this world, and I was hoping to attract as little attention as possible while looking for a way back home. Truckchan drove slowly and carefully until we made our way around the building. Brigo opened the doors to the stables, and Truckchan squirmed inside. It was a tight squeeze, but she managed, and thanks to the empty stables, her appearance was concealed from the outside world. Brigo removed his giant sword from the roof of the truck and slapped it on his back.
It's dark in here, Burrito-kun.
Truck-chan said softly. Don't worry, we'll be out soon. The sun is almost down. Dakota.
Brigo!
Someone called from outside. It was Dakota, and he was carrying several articles of clothing.
We're in here,
Brigo said. He cracked the door open slightly, and Dakota slipped the clothing through the opening.
Yeah, Brigo. Brigo to go.
Here, Burrito.
Brigo said, and handed me some of the items while he turned to get the rest from Dakota. In that moment, we felt a warm breeze. And when we turned around again, the truck was gone. In its place stood a naked Whammon. Truck-chan was human again.
Thank you.
Brigo told Dakota and closed the door again. Because Brigo had opened the door only slightly, and because his large frame stood between the opening and the truck, Dakota hadn't seen the transformation happen. He simply asked us... Sorry?
No, I said, God damn it, I wish I saw it.
God damn it. He simply asked us to join him at the bar when we were ready, and then he walked away. Here, Truck-chan, I said, handing her the clothing. Thankfully, it was too dark for me to see her clearly, so my nose wasn't spewing blood. But I could still see the outline of her figure, and I certainly couldn't forget what I had seen the night before. So I struggled to subdue my racing imagination.
Burrito-kun?
Yeah, here, just take it. I'm holding out my hand.
Okay, I'll take it.
She took the clothes that I was handing to her.
But I don't know how to put these on.
Nani? What?
I'm sorry, but I've never worn clothes before. I don't know how to put them on.
I sighed sharply. I looked at Brigo, but he just shrugged. Don't look at me, his expression said. You're on your own. I took a deep breath. Fine, okay, fine. Those long white things I handed you, those are stockings. They go on your legs. Just slip on one on each leg. You put your foot in the first, and then you pull it above your knees.
Oh, I'm so dumb. Okay.
She said, yo, Animac, you should include that. She said, I heard her struggling with the stockings.
Okay, I'm done, I think.
Yeah, it's easy, I said. You've seen me change before. I've even done it inside the truck once or twice. You know how this works.
Oh God, you did it inside me. Yeah.
Okay, good. Next we have what appears to be a one-piece outfit. A skirt and top combo. You just slip it on and adjust it according to, well, your measurements.
And I have the shoes right here for when you're ready.
Brigo added. He was standing guard by the door with a pair of Whammon's shoes in his hands.
Okay, so I just slip it on all together?
Yeah, it's a one-piece outfit, so it's all connected.
Okay.
Truck-chan squirmed and shuffled with the outfit. At that point, I felt an ominous moistness in my nose, and I had to look away. A few minutes had passed, but then she said...
Done! Is this right, Burrito-kun?
Assuming that she was now fully clothed, I not only looked at her, but also approached her and reached out with my hands to check her top. But my hands made contact with Truck-chan instead of the fabric. My hands were greeted by a large pair and still completely naked breasts. I squirmed. I screamed. I screamed and pulled my hands away. You're naked. You're still naked.
What?
Truck-chan squealed.
What do you mean? I put the clothes on.
I had no choice but to look and assess the situation. A single drop of blood escaped from my nose as I turned, and then I saw it. You're wearing it upside down, I said, and slapped the... my phone closed. I'm an idiot. And and slapped the palm of my hand to my face. You put your legs through the sleeves. No wonder her breasts were still bare. She was wearing the top part over her legs, while the bottom part, the skirt part, just hung limply above her naked chest, below her naked chest.
What do you mean, Birito-kun? This is how you always dress. You put your legs through the leg hole thingies, and then you pull the clothes up.
Yeah, but those are pants, I said, shaking my head. This is a skirt. Those are not holes for your legs. They're sleeves for your arms. Truck-chan shrugged.
I'm confused.
Okay, I said, wiping my nose with my sleeve. Okay, just take it all off and turn it the other way so that your arms go where your legs are currently located. Put your head through the big hole in the middle, put your arms through the sleeves, and then the skirt will fall over the lower half of your body, covering it. Do you understand?
I got it, holes. I think so.
She said. She took and shuffled, and she got the outfit off, and then she turned it around and put it on correctly.
I'm ready.
She said, doesn't say she said. I braced myself, knowing full well that I would have to inspect her again. Here goes, I muttered. But to my surprise, she had done it. Truck-chan was finally dressed with thigh-high white stockings, short black skirt, white top with a collar, and off-the-shoulder ruffle sleeves. Great job! Oh, sorry.
Great job, Truck-chan.
Brigo said.
I have your shoes. Just lift your legs one at a time, and Birito can help you put it on.
I nodded and knelt down to help.
Yay! Okay, great.
She said cheerfully, and then she raised one of her legs high above the ground. This wild motion of her leg lifted her skirt, revealing the contents beneath. I clenched my eyes shut and snapped my head sideways as blood gushed from my nose. Brigo! I screamed in a nasal tone. Underwear! We forgot our underwear!
What?
I don't
Brigo
need
said,
underwear.
and then looked around.
Oh my, you're right, Birito. You're absolutely right. It seems that underwear got stuck between the shoes. I am so sorry.
He pulled a small piece of white fabric from the space between the two shoes and handed it to me. I looked at Brigo with murderous intent as I took the panties from him and handed them to Truck-chan. I was careful not to look at her directly. Take this, put your legs in the two holes. Legs, not arms. Then pull it up until it's covering your butt and other stuff. All right?
Okay.
She said and took the panties. A few moments later, she said she was done. Great. Now let's put the shoes on and we can go.
Hold on a minute, Birito.
Brigo said.
You have to make sure that she put on the underwear correctly.
No, it's fine. I trust her.
Yeah, trust me.
Now, Birito.
Brigo continued.
We can't have Truck-chan walking around without any underwear in a place like this. Lots of shady men come to drink here. I'm sure that many of them are violent perverts.
I sighed again. Fine, I helped Truck-chan into her shoes. They were plain black women's shoes with no laces, and they were easy to slip on. Then I grabbed my nose, squeezed it to prevent any impending bleeding before glancing up quickly. Yup, looks great, I said, and jumped to my feet. Looks beautiful. No, wait, not beautiful. I mean, fine. Yeah, everything looks in order, down there. All right. Brigo nodded.
Thank you. Now come, follow me. I'll take you to the tavern. Food and drinks are on me.
The tavern was a lively place. By the way, Animac, I don't actually remember most of that part from the version that I got.
No, it was there. It was there.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so this is it's been great so far, guys.
Hell yeah.
Top-notch performance, Mousy. Great job.
No panties.
No pay. There's violent perverts.
The funniest thing is I imagine Core right now is like grinding his forehead with a cheese grater. He's like, what am I doing here?
No comment. You all agreed to this.
Rip. And even if you didn't, I mean, rip. The tavern was a lively place full of loud, excited people. The walls were made of stone, and all the furniture, including chairs, tables, and the bar itself, were made of a dark wood that gave off a strong, spicy scent. As soon as we entered, we could smell the cooked food and small liquor, as we saw Dakota at the bar serving drinks with the help of a beautiful barmaid. The barmaid wore the same black and white outfit as Truck-chan, although Truck-chan still had my Spamazon hat, and her ludicrous chest side made the top of her outfit look much tighter than the barmaid's. Brigo told us to take a seat at the nearest empty table, and as he walked up to the bar and greeted Dakota. Once I sat down, I couldn't help but stare at Truck-chan. She was looking around excitedly and smiling like a child on Christmas morning.
Wow, I've never been inside a bar before. Sorry, this is amazing. Ooh.
I love that that's in the script. She was practically jumping from her chair from all the excitement, and I was forced to turn away. The bouncing of her ample cleavage was almost hypnotic. It was only then that I realized something. Many of the people in the bar weren't exactly people. What I mean to say is they weren't exactly human. In the far corner of the room, I could see 2 large lizard men sitting and drinking what looked to be a green beer. 2 tables over, a man with purple skin and horns sat with a petite woman who had long elf-like ears, and the longest table in the tavern was occupied by a dozen drunk and rowdy gnomes. This is crazy, I thought to myself. How is any of this possible? All this time, I've been trying to convince myself that I was just having some sick isekai nightmare and that I was bound to wake up eventually. But no matter how long I waited, and no matter how many times I tried to pinch myself, the nightmare just wouldn't end. In fact, it's getting crazier with each passing moment. I didn't want all the mythical creatures in the tavern to think I was staring at them, so I looked over to the bar where Brigo was still talking with his friend. But then I noticed something. 2 women were sitting at the bar, not far away from where Brigo was standing, and one of these women was staring right at me. I thought I was imagining it at first. She must have been looking at someone else in my general vicinity. After all, no one knows me here, and I don't know anyone either. But then I took a closer look, and yes, the woman was staring right at me from across the room. There was no doubt about it. And she was smiling. I felt awkward and looked away, and in my confusion, I nearly failed to notice the women's strange features. I took another quick look, and that's when I realized that both of the women who were sitting at the bar had large cat-like ears growing out of their heads. They also had long cat-like tails and were both wearing light armor that reminded me of something that an Amazon warrior woman might wear. But this was an isekai world after all, so the armor still managed to show off the women's curves and other assets.
Hey, baby.
Someone said, and the deep voice seemed to be somewhere from above me. I looked up and saw a tall, burly man with a cape and a leather coat. He was looking at Truck-chan.
Whoever did that should.
Oh,
So is he also that character?
I think I'm in flag.
No, this is Todd, another character.
Yeah, he's
Animac, would
whatever.
you like to be
I can be
Todd, or
Todd?
You can be
Who's
Todd.
I think
Todd?
hiding should be Todd.
Hiding should be Todd.
Hiding, you're Todd.
Hiding.
Hiding is muted.
Okay, I'm Todd now.
Hey, hiding is back. All right, you're Todd. Go for it.
Hey, what's up? I'm Todd. Hey, how's it going?
I'll just do it.
I'm assuming he doesn't have the link.
Jesus Christ.
No, I've got it pulled up. I just may or may not have.
Been following along.
Narcolepsy is a damn drug.
All
right.
It's that
Todd.
Hey Baby.
I can do it if you want.
Yeah, anime.
I could.
Alright.
I mean, I don't know. I said, "Hey, baby." I felt pretty good about that.
Where
was
did Dakota go?
I could be a creep.
What's
Alright,
a
go
beautiful specimen?
What's a beautiful specimen like you doing a pitiful weakling like this?
He pointed in my direction without even looking at me.
Huh?
Truck-chan said.
Who are you?
The man laughed.
I am called Tom, and the greatest smuggler in this part of the borderlands. A great piece of tail like you belongs to the real man. Ditch the fool and let the ravish let you. You deserve to be ravished.
I felt like this be one of those times when I was supposed to do something brash and heroic, like, I don't know, challenge this man to a duel in order to defend Truck-chan's honor. But this guy was a lot bigger than me, and Truck-chan was a truck, so I said nothing.
You're goddamn right. Did you hear me, girl?
Todd demanded.
Get up and come with me. Come on now. I'll show you a good time.
He moved as if it was about to grab Truck-chan's arm, but he froze at the sound of Brigo's heavy footsteps.
Hello! What's happening here?
Brigo asked in his thundering voice. The entire tavern suddenly fell silent, and all eyes in the room quickly turned to Brigo. He placed a tray full of drinks on the table and then looked down at Todd with contempt. Todd was a large man, but he was still dwarfed by Brigo's massive frame. Todd looked at Brigo nervously, his eyes bulging. He was clearly scared. His name is Todd, I told Brigo. He said he was going to ravage Truck-chan.
He said what?
Brigo roared and banged his giant fist on the table.
Nothing at all.
Todd cried. He raised his arms and backed away.
I'm sorry, madam.
He said to Truckchan.
I thought there was someone else. Please forgive me.
Get out of here before I unsheath my sword.
Brigo said.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I let some fool named Todd insult my friends.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
He bowed and backed away, then ran for the door and vanished from our sight.
What a strange man.
Truckchan said.
I think there's something wrong with him. A dark puddle appeared on his pants after Sir Brigo hit the table. Maybe his oil is leaking.
Cha ha ha ha!
Brigo laughed.
His snake is as cowardly as he is. Here, help yourselves.
Brigo handed us each a large mug of that green fizzling beer I saw earlier. The others in the tavern slowly turned away and went about their business. Truckchan drank the green liquid without a second thought, but I was more cautious. I placed the small amount of liquid on my tongue first. The drink tasted a lot like beer, but with the splash of citrus and mint. It was quite good, to be honest, and I gulped down more of it. Thank you, Brigo. It's really good. In that moment, we heard the already familiar rumbling of Truckchan's stomach.
Uh-oh.
She said,
I need to be filled up again.
Not to worry.
Brigo said.
I've already ordered our food. It will be here soon. Who's gonna
Okay,
Animac.
I'll do it.
Animac, it's all you.
Did someone mention food?
An unknown female voice said. I turned in the direction of the bar. The two cat women who had been sitting there had now approached our table.
Mind if we join you?
The one who was staring at me earlier was also the one talking.
Well, hello there, ladies.
Brigo said, smiling.
By all means, sit with us. There is plenty of food coming.
There were 2 extra chairs at our table, so the cat women sat down. I couldn't help but stare at their armored bras and the long cat tails, which seemed to have a mind of their own.
My name is Blair.
Ouch, the talkative one said. She had dark hair that fell down the sides of her face and ended just below the jawline. The color of her ears and tail matched the color of her hair.
And this is my comrade, Sophia.
The other women... Wow. The other woman nodded politely. She had long blonde hair that fell down her back in a neatly tied braid. Her ears and tail were also the color of her hair, and the armor was a lighter color. Both women had piercing green eyes.
You must be travelers,
the talkative one said.
That one's clothes are clearly foreign.
She pointed directly at me.
Yes, we are.
Brigo replied.
My name is Lord D. Brigo. Lord D. Brigo, my apologies. And these are my friends Burrito and Truckchan. We are traveling to Slavograd, the capital of Animakistan.
Blair laughed.
What a coincidence. So are we. What brings you to Animakistan?
We have to meet an old friend.
Brigo said.
How about you?
Blair sighed and rubbed her forehead with the back of her hand.
We've been through a lot, you know. We're from the island of Neconia, where a fierce rebellion has been raging for years. The 2 of us served in the same unit, but then the conflict ended and our unit was disbanded. We've been soldiers for most of our lives, and we didn't know what to do or where to go. Then we heard about Animakistan and its handsome ruler, Animak.
I wonder who wrote it.
Most countries obsess over the beauty of young women in their teens and early 20s, but Animakistan holds mature women with life experience in the highest regard.
I was confused by this, obviously, because no one has taste like Animak. The cat women looked like they were in their earlier mid-30s, and they were both certainly attractive. I didn't understand why they would be valued more in Animakistan than any other country.
Oh, that much is true.
Brigo said.
Women are like fine wine, Animak always says. Only time can bring out the full range of their flavors.
Both of the cat women nodded.
We knew instantly that this was the land for us. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get to meet the Slavic Adonis himself. Isn't that right, Sophia?
Sophia nodded and smiled. She seemed like she was blushing.
But let me be honest, Brigo,
Blair said.
When I decided to approach you, I had ulterior motives.
Really?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Your friend here, you said his name was Birito.
Brigo nodded. I didn't say anything. The Catwoman's green eyes were fixated on me, and I had to look away. It was like she was staring into my soul.
You see, Brigo, I have this weakness.
Blair said. As she spoke, her long cattail began to caress my leg.
My weakness is small, fragile men like Birito. I simply cannot resist them. Yeah.
Her tails. You should just include that in the script, anime.
No, I can't. It would be so annoying. I can't do it.
That would be terrible. Please don't. That was a joke. Her tail swirled around my leg, climbing higher. Wait, what? I said and swallowed my spit.
Oh, I see, Blair, I see.
Brigo said and smiled. Man, Brigo's the ultimate wingman.
Animakistan.
Animac.
Would you mind if I borrowed your friend just for one night?
As she said this, Blair bit her lower lip, and I could swear she was beginning to purr. Suddenly, Truck-chan slammed both her hands on the table.
Get your filthy tail away from Birito-kun, you hairy beastly woman! Piece of shit.
Excuse me. No.
That's right, you heard me.
Truck-chan screeched. Her purple eyes were fierce.
Birito-kun and I are in love, and if you touch him again, I will crush you beneath my wheels like a stray cat in the street, you fucking bitch.
Blair said, and her tail slowly released its grip on my leg.
So this fragile little treat has already been taken. I can't say that I'm surprised.
She said and licked her lips.
He looks very tasty.
I had no idea what was happening. It sure sounded like two gorgeous women were arguing over me. But this was so far removed from my normal life that I couldn't quite process it. Luckily, in the moment the server brought out the massive plate filled with meat, as soon as the plate hit our table, both Truck-chan and Blair grabbed large chunks of meat and began to devour them. They stared at each other down as they ate. I don't know what type of meat this was or what strange animals it came from, but it smelled so good that I didn't care. I took a piece of what might have been some kind of chicken and I ate it. In complete silence, Brigo and Sophia helped themselves as well, and before long, we were all gorging ourselves with juicy, delicious meat. Some time passed without any of us talking. We ate so much that the server brought seconds, and the second plate was just as full of meat as the last one. Truck-chan was consuming an incredible amount, but Blair was attempting to give her a run for her money. And then, in the middle of all this, the doors of the tavern suddenly slammed open. The sound was so loud that everyone in the bar stopped eating and drinking. We all turned attention to the door. Two men entered. They were dressed in dark hooded cloaks, and their faces were barely visible beneath the black fabric.
This is Evan's line.
Lord D. Brigo!
One of the men said.
That is a lot of meat, but where are the potatoes?
Brigo dropped what he was doing and stood up instantly. The two men removed their hoods. One of the men had dark brown skin and a beard, while the other had lighter skin and wore glasses with thick black frames.
Evanito and Core.
Brigo muttered. He seemed surprised.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I'm guessing this is me.
Yeah, you're the bearded one.
No, what are you doing here, Brigo?
The bearded one demanded.
Tell us now!
Perfect.
Calm down, Evan.
The other man said.
Brigo, we were sent by Lord Nuxanor. His orders are to bring you directly to Nuxtoria. He wants to speak with you.
Brigo frowned.
I will go to Nuxtoria, and I will speak to him. But first, I must go to Animakistan.
The bearded man shook with rage.
Did you not hear what he just said? Lord Nuxanor has summoned you! Follow us now, or you will regret it.
Evan, please.
The man named Core said.
Brigo, I don't want to fight you, but we have our orders. We have to take you to Nuxanor before you cross the border into Animakistan.
Cha! Cha!
Brigo's laugh thundered through the tavern.
You think you can take me anywhere against my will? I never thought that Nuxanor would send his henchmen here just to be humiliated in front of all these people.
With a fierce grin on his lips, Brigo began the process of removing his armor.
Birito, Truckshon, listen carefully.
He said.
These men are kink users. This will get dangerous, so be sure to keep your distance.
As Brigo continued to remove his armor, something strange happened. His entire body began to glow as a powerful golden aura surrounded him. It was as if a sudden storm of energy was coming to life all around him. And the other two men, Evanito and Core, began to glow as well. Evanito's aura was blue, while Core's aura was silver. The entire tavern was completely silent as tension filled the air. Dakota ran over to Brigo.
I'll help you.
Dakota said.
Attacking you inside of my inn is unacceptable.
No,
Brigo replied.
I don't want you to make an enemy out of Nuxanor. It's me they're after, and they're about to get exactly what they bargained for.
Brigo looked at the two intruders as his aura continued to surge wildly.
Cha-ha-ha, gentlemen, shall we take this outside?
Evanito looked as if he was about to shout again, but Core raised his hand and stopped him.
Of course.
Core said.
We apologize for this, Dakota.
Dakota said nothing as the two men walked out of the tavern, followed by Brigo. Truckchen and I walked out after Brigo. The Catwoman came too, and so did all the other patrons from the bar. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I did know one thing. It was going to be big, and everyone wanted to see it. Evanito and Core walked into a clearing that was located about 100 meters away from the inn. Brigo followed them, but everyone else kept their distance. As Brigo finished removing his armor, only his tank top and golden underwear remained, and he was now holding his sword, which he had removed from the strap on his back. Even from a distance, we could see their auras growing and swirling with energy. And then it happened. Each man's aura intensified, jumped into the air, and took on an entirely new shape.
Oh.
And Chapter 4 coming soon, and it will be titled The Battle of Kinks. The hype is real.
Yes.
All right, whoa.
Thank you, guys. Beautiful job.
I demand a spin-off chapter if this thing hits off of the fucking Broski Inn.
Yeah, the Broski Inn is.
You see Broski and Blair hanging
The
out.
adventures of the Broski Inn.
Broski and Blair hanging out. Like, that'd be a fucking great ass fucking spin-off. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
man. I'm so excited for the fight.
I
It's
feel
gonna
like
be
you
great.
captured my character well. That I yell a lot for no reason.
And you
Yeah,
simp,
I mean,
and you
bro.
simp Lord Nuxanor like crazy.
We just did great. We just had like a great moment where I feel like I had you as this crazy simp for Nux, and Core was the calm voice of reason.
I feel
You guys did it perfectly.
I feel like a very realistic bartender, as I would do now. I'm just a bartender who gets drunk. And I'm like, you guys captured that perfectly.
Absolutely.
I love before each of your lines you like took a drink or something.
I feel like he opened a new bottle of beer every sentence.
Every single
Ironically, I didn't have to try hard for that. It just sort of happened of where like every line I had was like, oh, a new beer. All right, let's do it.
But I just love the dynamic of Evan coming in. I see you have a lot of meat, but where are your potatoes? Because Nuxanor's line is meat and potatoes, so he's just upset that someone isn't eating meat with potatoes. And then Core is just like, please, Evan.
Stop embarrassing us.
So the next chapter is out on our Patreon for $5 or more patrons for early release, and then it will be dropped sometime in the near future on Web Novel. It's we might still make some edits to it because I rushed to get it out today, but I'm really happy with it. With the kinks, which you will find out what kinks are, and the battle does end in the next chapter, so you see the whole battle. Oh man, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and not even Briggs and Nux have read it yet. That's how much we were rushing it. So
Also known as Nux and Briggs, just saying.
yes, Dakota, you are in the next chapter as well,
Yeah,
and so are Core and Evan, obviously.
So can
Yeah,
I
Core
join
and
next
Evan.
week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when we do it for
That's
sure.
really
And I'm honestly hiding
Also-
part is gonna be fire, and
Also-
it's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's coming.
Animac, me and you, the fucking girls, we were rocking it. we were rocking it.
Yeah, I forgot how many
Baby, this is-
lines Blair
this is
had when I
showbiz.
volunteered.
We had it, man. We had it. Me and you.
You know, now I kind of do want that spinoff to happen.
I know, like me and Evan just showing at this tavern. Like, oh my
Dude,
god.
can you imagine we finish this whole thing and the only like spin-off we do is Evan's backstory, how he became a simp.
Oh
I'm
man,
walking
yeah,
in.
this has become a Rank Cafe book club, and it's the most fun you're gonna have in your life, at least from my personal experience.
And
I mean, sex is okay, but isekai to another world with my truck, bruh.
Bruh.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
something
so
else.
confused. I'm gonna go back and read the previous chapters because like it seems fun.
yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you, bro. I hope so. And yeah, I know
still
it's
can't believe that you fucking told me, Animac. You're like, oh, chapter 3, you're in there. I'm like, okay, cool. And I read chapter 3. I read chapter 3 like 3 times. I'm like, I don't see me anywhere. I'm like, hey, Animac, am I in here? And he goes, yeah, you're
No, but
named Dakota.
here's,
And I'm
here's
like,
the problem, Dakota. It's because I sent you a file in which it's chapter 3, but you didn't open the file. I think you opened the
web novel
web
link.
yeah, I opened
And
the
then
web
the web
novel.
novel
I was
doesn't
like,
work because you
I was like,
Threw
I'm
a
not in-
piano across his room.
And you were like, you dumbass, you're in chapter 3. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then like I read the thing 3 times and like I'm in the wrong file. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's because on web novel you can't do a
I'm a
prologue and then
dumbass.
chapter 1. It just automatically calls it chapter 1, so that's why. But no worries, man. It was great.
No, it worked out pretty good. I'm really happy. Like,
Really-
I'm really happy with the reveal of like what I was in the chapter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I really love you guys for taking the time and coming here. It means a lot, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
of course.
awesome.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Definitely,
Quick
guys.
shout out, if you guys want to read the first 3 chapters, if you haven't already, it is available for free on web novel.
No,
And
I saw like 5 comments that said Dakota's a badass. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's me. That's me.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, so if you guys want to check out right now, the prologue and the first 3 chapters are on web novel, and the new chapter will come at a later date. And don't forget to give us the Power Stones on web novel and to give us reviews because that helps.
And I think the names Blair, Sophia, and Todd were picked out by our patrons, right?
Yes, so we have patrons who help us like contribute to the story by coming up with names, stuff like that. So yeah, Todd, Blair, and Sophia were picked by them, and also, ladies and gentlemen, Todd has become a fan favorite in our patron Discord. People believe that Todd was just hiding his true power and that he will return.
I mean, people are convinced that Todd is like the Lord Twigo of the series.
Yes, they are.
But in fact,
he's the
Briggs
Billy.
is the Lord Twigo.
They're saying things like bow before Todd.
Yeah. So basically, they tried to meme Todd as being cool. So we went ahead and was like, "You think a man named Todd can do anything?" Like, just destroyed him to his core right there.
Well, some people believe that he is the mastermind behind the whole thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
And yes, in future chapters, we will have Lord Nuxnor, Animac, and Hiding as well.
Oh yeah, for sure, and many others.
Well,
who
first,
give us permission.
Animac is going to be coming first, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
But the
people are
spin-off-
calling Todd in chat. They're calling him ToD.
All right, I'm thinking right now. Dakota the bartender is a misunderstood bartender who's an alcoholic.
No one understands Dakota Broski.
He's a misunderstood alcoholic who like has a very dark past of being in the war, and then like he gets like a redemption page of saving a young girl, and then he has to fucking fight off a whole army. Spin-off, the spin-off is gonna be lit, y'all.
Great
Don't worry about
ideas, man. And you know what? The best part about it is if this does take off and become an anime, I can make all the explained videos I want on my YouTube channel because I know all the stuff.
Can you imagine we're like, okay, so Brigo is stronger than Evanito. And then like you'll have power scaling guys be like, no, but Evan actually dodged that. So that means he's like
I cannot wait to get a video. I'm gonna get an email from Animac one day and just going like, "Hey Animac, hey Dakota, here's a video for me to, for you to edit." And all of a sudden, like the biggest power scaling in the Rant Cafe Isekai.
Yeah, well, that's the
No,
glory
I think
of
it would
the power
actually be
scaling
pretty
game.
hilarious. Not gonna lie, it would be pretty great if like you get this whole spin-off of Dakota Broski fighting in a war, saving a young maiden, fighting off an entire army, and then it like skips to the present day where Dakota's telling this story by a bar, and then they're like, Dakota, that war happened before you were ever isekai into
Yeah.
this world.
No, you're right.
Bro, it's so funny because I know this old dude back in Serbia when I go to visit. Like, he's this dude who keeps talking about how he was in World War II, and the guy is like 60 years old. He was born after World War II ever happened,
my
but he
God.
keeps telling stories of World War II. Oh, it's so good. Oh, thank you guys so much. Absolutely.
Oh, that was a fun chapter. That was a really fun chapter.
Absolutely a pleasure. And yeah,
This
so
snake
next
was
chapter.
too cowardly. I think that was the best line in the chapter.
Yeah,
The
honestly,
snake-
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, thank you
Not
guys.
gonna lie, pretty
I think
good.
we could call it a night now, at least for the podcast episode. But yeah, stay tuned for more chapters. Check us out on Web Novel. Thank you to all these lovely people. Nux, want to list out everyone who was here to help us out?
There's Animac, the main writer and the absolute mad lad that is really pulling the strings to put this together. He deserves all the credit. All right. There's also Nux and Briggs. There's
Nux and
Iron
Briggs.
Mouse. Thank you, Briggs. Absolute mad lass, voice of Truck-chan, amazing Twitch channel. Definitely check out her Twitch. We
Great
also
music.
have great music, musician of the century.
No.
Sorry, KSI, you got nothing on Iron Man. Anyway, we also have Hiding in Public.
Nope.
We love him. Absolute mad lad. We stand. He's actually pretty overpowered in the isekai. We also have Evan and Core, the duo masterminds.
Subscribe to Jack and Core on YouTube.com. That's all I'm
Actually,
here for.
yeah, hell yeah. Subscribe to Jack and Core. Maybe we should kick that out of the isekai, just replace him with Jack. No, I'm kidding.
Jack and Core.
But
I feel like it'd be a pretty good plot point.
yeah, I agree. Like that.
I die in.
Oh my god, there's
over.
like these whole mini arcs with Evan and Core. It's like at one point, like you run into them again, Brigo runs into them again, and it's Core and Jack. You're like, where's Evan? And it's like, oh, and then like you get this whole flashback of why Evan is not there.
Oh, bro, you guys have to see the next chapter and like the whole lore of Evan and his connection to his kink. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
And we also have the bartending mastermind who got drunk to play the part. Not really, he just got drunk and he happened to play the part. The legend, Dakota Broski.
That's me. Also, did not play the part at all of being drunk. That was all a show. Do not let them tell you otherwise.
You're just that good of an actor.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're still in character even now.
You're right.
Come on, Morty.
Oh,
He's
Alright,
literally
and-
rigged. He's
And with that
literally
all said and done, have yourselves the most wonderful evening. Stay weird, fam. Bye, Space Cowboys. Brigo's outro, Shinpaku.
There we go.
Iron Mouse.
Chinpock.
Time for Iron Mouse to sing us in
And
Spanish.
remember to stay weird, fam.
Iron Mouse, can we get an uwu?
I did it all through your videos. So I can do all of your outros right now.
Hey.